Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Katie. My name is Prin. I am a Latina woman with long brown hair, and I'm wearing a beige sweater with flowers and clear framed glasses. And my pronouns are she and her. Sam?
Thank you. And my name is Sam Chapman. I'm a digital user experience analyst at the IRS. My pronouns are he and him. I have gray hair with a red sweater and black rimmed glasses on. Today, we're going to talk about how we improved Free File with web analytics and customer feedback. Slide 2. Did you know, slide 3, that there's an application on the IRS.gov that helps eligible people with filing their taxes for free? Slide 4. And that we update that application to meet people's needs every year based on customer feedback and web analytics. On slide 5. At the end of the session, you will leave with these key takeaways. You'll know more about the IRS Free File Program. You'll know more about the user experience process used to update the application. You'll know more about the analytics process used to make ongoing updates to the application. And you'll have some tips and tricks based on our lessons learned you can use on your next project. Now, Kira is going to talk about the IRS Free File Program.
Thank you, Sam. Slide 6. There's an IRS Free File Program you may have heard of before. So to help you understand the updates to the application we are sharing with you today, we need to tell you what this program is about and how people use its applications. Slide 7. The IRS Free File Program lets people prepare and file their federal income tax return online using guided tax preparation at an IRS partner site or using the free file fillable forms on IRS.gov. It is safe, easy, and at no cost to the public. The guided tax preparation provides free online tax preparation and filing at an IRS partner site. Our partners deliver this service at no cost to qualifying taxpayers. Taxpayers whose adjusted gross income, or AGI, is $73,000 or less qualify for a free federal tax return. Some partners offer free state tax return preparation as well. The application we're going to be talking about today helps people who want to use a guided tax preparation software. The free file fillable forms are electronic federal tax forms equivalent to a paper 1040 form. You should know how to prepare your own tax return using form instructions and IRS publications if needed. It provides a free option to taxpayers whose AGI is greater than $73,000 a year. You can find more information about the IRS Free File Program on www.irs.gov/freefile. But just remember, to receive the benefits offered in the IRS Free File Program, people must begin their filing process at irs.gov. Now, slide 8. For those of you who are more visual learners like us, here's a screenshot of the IRS Free File application's homepage. So you can see what people see when they go from the IRS.gov Free File landing page to the application's landing page. At the top of the page, people can learn about this application, and you can see it right here with the number 1. In the middle of the page, people see what they need to have at hand before they even begin the process, in the blue box right here, next to number 2. And next to that information, next to that blue box, people have 2 options to choose from. The Browse All Offers experience, which is a page where people can see all the offers in one place and apply some filters to narrow the options down. And the lookup tool experience, which is a guided experience with more specific questions people can answer to give them more definitive results about which offers they may be qualified to use. Based on user testing sessions, we know people have some questions they want answered before they start the free file process. So we've added those FAQs at the bottom of the page, like you can see here next to number 4. Now, let us show you how we've updated this application on an annual basis since 2019. Sam. Oh, Sam, you're on mute.
Sorry. For the IRS Free File application and many others, we follow an iterative process to create them or redesign them and keep them up to date to meet people's needs. Slide 10. We use research and design to conceptualize ideas at the IRS, and this is the iterative process we follow as an organization for every single one of our projects. By following this process, we ensure we deliver relevant applications to people that meet their needs. We have 4 iterative phases: foundation, where we identify opportunities; exploration, where we design the right products; execution, where we build the products right; and measurement, where we learn how people use our products. And as you can see in the slide, the arrows at the top show you how these phases are iterative and happen continuously. It doesn't matter if we've already launched an application or we're starting from scratch. As you can see, we emphasize the measurement phase in the slide, since that's the phase we'll be talking about today. There's a large digital data platform supporting data acquisition and testing in the Office of Online Services here at the IRS, and we take the measurement phase seriously. The digital data platform, consisting of many parts, gives us the capability to acquire the near real-time data necessary for automated analytics. Once changes are deployed, measurement of the digital data and analytics related to the changes made are evaluated constantly for everything from effectiveness to satisfaction. As such, our digital platform capabilities allow us to measure and adapt our features and improve the user experience of our services, because we always have the end user in mind. Slide 11. Second, we use an iterative design approach so we can create the best experience for the public. We identify a need first. We then elaborate and brainstorm to create a solution that follows US best practices. We test the application with real users. We have a refined approach, which means we always know there's something else we could or should update, and work on based on user testing, UX best practices, and analytics. But we know we can't do everything all at once. So we test again, we repeat as necessary, and we update the application with continuous analytics and feedback from app-specific survey and user testing. If you want to use this process for your next project, be consistent and intentional, and remember to build in time for testing and design iterations. That's how we've done it so far, and it's worked well for us. Slide 12. We follow these guiding principles to create, redesign, and update our applications. Effectiveness. Can users achieve what they need? Ease of learning. How fast can someone who has never seen the interface learn it? Efficiency. How fast can someone complete the task? Memorability. Can people remember enough to reuse it effectively? Error prevention. How to design the interface so users can't make errors. And satisfaction. How much does the user like the system? Notice at the top of our pyramid is satisfaction. We don't monitor how much the user likes the system we put together, and we don't take proper actions to improve the user experience in a timely manner. Our work is not complete, and we're doing a disservice to our customers. And now Kira is going to tell you about how we collect and analyze our data. On slide 13.
Thank you, Sam. Slide 14. After we fully redesigned the IRS Free File application in 2019, we implemented this process to continuously analyze data as a team. This practice does not stop with deployment. So, step 1, analyze the data with the working group. These are the team members in charge of analyzing the IRS Free File data. And since this is one of the questions we got from you in our last presentation, these are the number of team members in the working group. So we have 5 business stakeholders. They are the business owners team of the application, 2 web analytics specialists, 2 user experience and design team members, and 2 IRS.gov team members. So we are a total of 11 people in our working group. Step 2, we meet on a monthly basis during filing season because IRS Free File Program is open only during filing season. Step 3, and we add new updates to the backlog after every meeting. During this step, we take prioritization into consideration as well. We use the data we analyzed in the first step to determine which items make the cut based on our criteria, whether the ticket is a 508 compliance ticket, user experience showstopper or user experience improvement ticket, or a logic or calculations fix ticket. Once we identify what type of ticket this proposed change could be, we discuss as a team how important the change is and how the ticket should end up relative to other backlog priorities. Step 4, when we propose a change based on user feedback and analytics, we share that information with the business owner and the online services management teams in a written format. And sometimes it really helps our case when we show them a design mockup so they can visualize the changes better. By now, our management teams are very used to our analytics reports, but we always have some time in our presentations to answer any questions they may have about the data points we are reviewing, the graph legends, etc. So we are all on the same page as we go through the data that supports our proposed changes. This step can take a couple of days to weeks to happen, depending on how fast we need to deploy the update, or if it can wait until the next filing season. Step 5, once changes are approved, we coordinate all the new work with the development team. And finally, step 6, we deploy all the changes following agile methodologies. Slide 15. We update survey questions to better serve people, and we did it recently to prepare for filing season. In the summer of 2022, we updated the questions people can answer when they get the in-app survey. We used past survey responses and business requirements to make changes to the user flow and the questions we wanted to ask IRS Free File customers, so we could have a better understanding of what's working and what's not working for them. And that way we can have more data to support any changes to the application and the program. In this slide, you can see a screenshot of the positive experience user flow we put together with the working group. We ask people to rate their level of agreement with the following statement. The IRS Free File Program made it easy for me to complete what I needed to do. A statement that can give us data into the level of satisfaction our customers have. If they select strongly agree, neutral, or agree, they'll be moved to one of the last questions of the survey, which is Do you have any positive feedback to share about your experience with the IRS Free File Program? The reason why we ask this question is to give people the opportunity to tell us what worked for them, so we can share that information with our management teams. Remember, not everything in data analysis and customer feedback reviews should be bad. And we're telling you, we're from the IRS. Slide 16. As you can see here, not everything is as easy as the previous user flow. Since we started monitoring the IRS free file data closely and continuously in 2019, we have identified patterns in the survey responses we receive from people, especially the negative comments. So we decided to update the negative experience user flow to gather more information about what's wrong with their experience, so we can have more data points to support any changes we may propose in the future. We totally understand that the next 2 slides are an eyesore for you, and we do not want you to squint your eyes to read them because we're going to explain them to you. But what we think it's important for you to see how complicated this user flow really is, and how we have updated the survey questions to get to the information we really need to find a solution for these customers. So the negative user flow experience goes like this. In the first question, when we say, rate your level of agreement, the IRS Free File Program made it easy for me to complete what I needed to do. If the user selects disagree or strongly disagree, we show them question 2, which is, which of the following issues did you have? And we have about 10 options in that question. I had an issue with a free file provider. The terms used across IRS.gov and the IRS free file application are confusing and difficult to understand. It was hard to determine if I'm eligible for a free federal tax or state tax return. So, and we also have the option of others. So if the user selects any issue, except I had an issue with a free file provider and other, they will get the next question, question 2B, which is there anything else you would like to tell us about your experience and or issues you had? So then we can have more data into what we don't have on that list. And then after they answer that question, they go straight to question 5, which is, how can we improve the IRS Free File Program in the future? And they give us their feedback if they want. It is not a required field. And then they get the thank you page. If the user selects disagree or strongly disagree, and in question 2, they select other, then they get question 2A, which is, what other issue did you have? And after they answer that question, they get to question 5. How can we improve the IRS Free File Program in the future? And if they give us, or they don't give us their an answer, they get the thank you page. So on slide 17, I want to show you a little bit more of this negative experience user flow. Okay. So question 1, remember, rate your level of agreement. The IRS Free File Program made it easy for me to complete what I needed to do. If the user selects disagree or strongly disagree, they get question 2, which of the following issues did you have? And if they select, I had an issue with a free file provider, we show them question number 3, which free file provider did you choose? And we have the list of the available providers. They select the one that they chose, and then they get question number 4, which is, what was the issue with this provider? And we have a couple of options for them, right? I did not receive a confirmation or acknowledgement that my return was received and processed. I was charged a fee for using IRS Free File, or other, but we have a couple more. If they select other, we ask them, with question 4A, describe the issue in more detail. So we have more data on that. After they do that, we show them question 5. How can we improve the IRS Free File Program in the future? And then we show them a thank you page. If they have any option except other, we go straight to, how can we improve the IRS Free File Program in the future? And the next 2 questions I'm going to describe are part of the list of questions that we put together last year. We are not going to publish them this year in the survey of this year, but hopefully soon. And we ask question number 6, may the IRS Free File team contact you about your experience? If they say no, totally fine. We show them the thank you page. If they say yes, we show them another question saying, enter an email address that we can use to contact you. Once they do that, we show them the next thank you page. Now I'm going to pass it on to Sam.
Thank you, Kira. We're consistent with our analytics reports, and these are some of the data points the business owner wants to review in every analytics meeting. Sessions to click out to a free file provider, mobile sessions versus non-mobile sessions, year-over-year free file provider comparison, survey ratings 1 to 5 stars, user quotes. Other data points we include in these reports are sessions to apply a filter, sessions to make it to a results page, and issues users experience on the application. Slide 19. We take people's privacy seriously. When we collect data from people, either through user testing sessions, application survey, or web analytics tool, all data is aggregated and de-identified. Research findings and analytics details are only shared with business owner of the application, web analytics specialist, user experience and design team members, IRS.gov team members, and business owner and online services management teams when proposing a change. All privacy approvals are in place before engaging with the IRS Free File customers. We engage with the IRS Privacy, Governmental Liaison, and Disclosure Office to have all the privacy approvals in place before conducting a research study or launching the application survey. And we also request the Paperwork Reduction Act approval. We remind participants in the in-app survey and the user testing sessions that their participation is completely voluntary and they can exit the survey at any time with no penalty or risk. Slide 20. Kira will now tell you how we use the data to make design decisions.
Thank you, Sam. Slide 21. So remember the measurement base we shared with you at the beginning of our presentation? And remember the question we asked ourselves, what enhancements could the IRS make to improve the user experience? Now we're going to show you how we've asked ourselves that question over and over again with the IRS Free File application. Our first example of how we've used data to make changes to the IRS Free File application takes place in 2021. Early in the filing season, we found out through the in-app survey and the web analytics tool we use that non-filers were complaining that they were told they needed to be in the IRS system to get their stimulus checks in 2021, and they needed to use one of the Free File partners to file their non-filer return. But the system wasn't accepting their $0 AGI since the application wasn't built to let people with no income or a $0 AGI to move past the AGI step in the lookup tool. So we had to deploy a change to the AGI step in less than 3 weeks to account for the non-filer's user's experience. We updated the backend with a new logic that would let non-filers move forward with $0 AGI. And in the front end of the application, we added a no income section at the very top of the page. So people wouldn't have to scan through all the possible options and move quicker through the steps. So here on slide 21, on the left-hand side of the slide, you can see the screenshot before analyzing the data of the AGI step with no income option. And then on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see after we analyzed the data, how we added a no income section at the top of the page. But if we go to slide 22, you can see the screenshot bigger, and you can see that we added a even a heading for that section, and we added a tooltip also if people had questions about if they had to select this option or not. And then the option is I did not earn income, because that's exactly how people were writing their feedback using their feedback survey, in-app survey. Slide 23. This example takes place right when we deployed the redesign of the IRS Free File application in 2019. The team received multiple survey responses through the in-app survey that they thought the lookup tool had too many steps and it felt too much to deal with. So we consolidated 7 steps into 4 in 2022, and we stopped receiving that type of survey responses once the change was deployed. Full disclosure, it took us a couple of years to deploy this change because it wasn't as high priority as other design and 508 changes we wanted to make to the application. And it wasn't a complete showstopper, and people were able to complete their tasks answering questions in 7 steps. The team will be testing the new questions ordered this year during a round of user testing sessions. And this is a great example of having a refined approach we were mentioning a couple of slides ago. So on the left-hand side of slide 23, you can see the screenshot with 7 steps. And the 7 steps were filing status, age, AGI, EITC, state of residence, military pay, and results. And on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see the screenshot with only 4 steps. But let's move to slide 24 so you can see it bigger. Now we have 4 steps, which are general, adjusted gross income, earned income tax credit, and results. Slide 25. And our final example of the day is from years 2020 and 2021. During our monthly analytics review meetings, the team saw a combination of survey responses and session replays of people being confused about how to compare their information with the Free File partners' information. We could see people scrolling up and down the page, reviewing what they had answered with what was provided on each of the cards at the top of the page. So we moved the user responses from the bottom of the page to the top next to the cards. So when people get to the results page of the lookup tool, they can see their information next to the cards carousel and compare line by line. So we can also improve information comprehension and comparison with just one change. So on slide 25, the screenshot on the left-hand side shows you the information table at the bottom of the page. And on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see how we moved the information table to the top of the page next to the cards of the free file cards. And if we go to slide 26, you can see the screenshot bigger, and you can see how each line is next to the cards line, so it's easier for people to comprehend and understand the information. AGI next to AGI, age next to age, residence next to residence, etc. And now I'm going to pass it back to Sam so he can tell us what we have learned from this experience.
Thank you. Slide 28. We learned a lot from our experience. We believe our data analysis process is successful, and it continues to be successful because of the following tips, tricks, and lessons learned. First of all, include the business owner in the analytics reviews early on. Understand that some stakeholders may not be familiar with user experience methodologies. Prioritize communication among all team members. Have an agenda for every team meeting to stay on track with the reports, and send a summary after each meeting. Include a feedback button or a pop-up survey on every page of your application, not just on your results page, because that immediate feedback is invaluable, and you need to meet people where they are. So if you want them to provide you with feedback on the logic, the content of their experience, or their experience, so you can improve it in the future, you need to give them the tool to do so. Slide 29. We know it takes a village to update an application based on data, so we recommend you to include the Section 508 and Web Content Accessibility Guidelines experts in every change you propose. Involve the development team and web analytics experts in the design process. Slide 30. We like to consider this as our mantra. Without these rules, we wouldn't be here today telling you our story. Test, 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 and test. Don't launch something to the public that is not supported by user research and data. Use quotes from user testing sessions and survey responses. Listen to real people telling you their experience to help you sell your proposed changes better to your stakeholders. And lastly, don't be afraid to say something you worked on in the past needs to be improved or updated after you analyze your data. That's the only way you can do the right thing for your customer and their needs. Slide 31. Thank you so much for joining us today.